Guys, this is the greatest day of my life. Fantastic Four is my favorite Marvel series, and now they added Reed Richards, Susan Storm, and they're going to add the rest of the Fantastic Four to Marvel Rivals, which is also my favorite game right now. So of course I'm going to be a Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic main. So what I'm going to do for you guys today, give you a quick overview of his abilities, a little bit of a guide, and then some gameplay as well. So first of all, let's look at his primary fire. It's a funny little whip, right? It reaches crazy far. About, I would say, around 20 meters is his range. Now, a really interesting thing that I found out about this primary fire is if you whiff, like you miss, it goes behind them, right? It goes behind them. I gotta show you here. It'll go right behind them and then actually hit them on the way back. You can avoid shots from projectile heroes, and while you're missing your shots, you can still get a little bit of damage on the way back while you're kind of weaving in and out. Really cool that they even bothered to add this kind of physics to the game. I can miss, turn around, and get bonus damage while also avoiding damage. His right click is Distended Grip. That's the move that you guys saw in the trailer where he grabs two different people and slams them into each other. I'm sure there's going to be some very, very funny clips that we're going to get from that just by itself. Alright, his E is called Flexible Elongation. So that's the move that lets him pull people in, or pull himself to them and gives him that shield, right? So he'll be fighting people, do this. This character can end up with, I think, like 600 or 700 health is what I saw in the trailer. So let's turn off cooldowns for a second. I'm not going to go crazy. I'll just do like 2 of them, right? So let's let him reset. Back to his 300 health. Let me heal real quick. Does this guy really have 350 health? That's nuts. So, boom. Boom. And of course, all of his other moves also give him shields. So you can end up with a ridiculous amount of shields. Like 800 health. Because of his passive, right? So we look at Distended Grip, we looked at the Elongation that gives him the huge shield. Let's look at his passive real quick. So Reed Richards' passive is Elastic Strength. Using abilities generate elasticity, boosting attack power. Reaching full orange elasticity triggers an inflated state that grants shield and boosts even more damage. So not only are you getting tankier while fighting and using abilities, you're actually doing way more damage. So bam, bam, right click, bam. So boom. This is like Gear 4th Luffy. You're doing crazy damage while you're in this state. Kind of insane. And of course his deflect that you guys saw in the trailer as well. You kind of just absorb hits and then send them back. Obviously, off a primary fire, that's not much, but you can reverse Iron Man's ult, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other ults you can reverse as well. Now let's take a look at his ultimate. His ultimate is called Brainiac Bounce. Wait, Brainiac Bounce. Sorry about that, guys. So this is like Zack's ultimate in League of Legends, if you ever played that game. He just bounces around, slamming on people. I'm pretty sure he's vulnerable during this state. It doesn't look like you're gaining shields, and I'm pretty sure you can be hit. So just be careful while you're using this. Oh, I forgot to say, Reed Richards also has a team up with Susan Storm. It's called Wedded Harmony. It's pretty cute. Visible when taps into her powers, channeling psionic might to fortify the entire Fantastic Four team. This formidable force bolsters Mr. Fantastic, gaining or granting damage resistance. Once activated, they can continually generate bonus health, making up for lost health with each passing moment. So I just take some damage here for a little bit. It's actually quite a strong heal. So immediately gets shield and starts healing up some of his health. Really effective, especially since this guy wants to stay in fights for so long. Yeah, guys, all of Reed Richards' abilities. Let's do a really quick guide on how I think this character should be played. Alright, before I get into the guide, let's talk about some pros and cons to playing Reed Richards. First of all, he's insanely good at dueling, very good against people like Black Panther or Magic or any of those duelists. He basically adds a third tank to the team or a second off tank, so that's really fun, but he's not a tank himself, so do not try to run him solo tank. His damage seems really good, his ult has insanely high burst, and he's super fun. For some cons, he has pretty low range, and he relies on landing that skill shot, the right click, to be the most optimal for his meter build. Other than that, he has a pretty hard counter, which I'll talk about later in the video. Alright, first of all, and most importantly, let's talk about his passive. You build meter, it goes to 100 and you go into this improved state. That is what you want. You want to rotate abilities to go into this state constantly as much as possible, because this is when he's doing the most damage and has the most shields. I really like primary fire into right click into E. In other words, you want to primary fire into distended grip into the flexible elongation. After that, you're just a few hits away from full elasticity where you're going to be doing the most damage and have the most shields. Reed Richards is heavily dependent on rotating your abilities really well. He has good cooldowns, but you want to be using your right click and primary fire mostly into the E to gain the most shield and meter right off that one charge, and then going into the super buff form. Rinse and repeat, that's what you want. I save the other E charge in case they bring my health down really fast, or they're just outranging me, which will cause my health to start dropping. It'll get you back into the fight and let you continue the rotation. And since the right click is just a 6-second cooldown, you can kind of keep doing this rotation over and over again, even if you are getting kited. So personally, I think landing the right click is really important. It's something to do in between your E charges and is going to give you a lot of meter build. I think Reed works best when you're playing alongside of dive tanks or brawler tanks like Thor, Venom, and Hulk, since you are building health and damage for using abilities. He really has nothing to lose and everything to gain from this. So make sure you're playing with your tanks or your flankers. Make sure you're moving around while swinging, because even when you miss, you are netting some damage and avoiding theirs. You play this guy basically like Hulk when you jump in. You run in and brawl. You can turn around and peel your team and kind of play a bit like an all-rounder. So yeah, in a lot of ways, he's very similar to Hulk. You jump in, do some damage, look behind you, see how your supports are doing. They're not doing too good. They're getting dove. You right-click someone in front of you. You right-click whoever's attacking them, snap them together, and bam, you peeled your team while you're staying in the front. You want to make sure you're exiting fights ahead of time, since he doesn't have like Black Panther dash or Magic's disc or anything like that. You have to rely on your ult. That's the only mobility you have. So it's better to just leave ahead of time if you feel like the fight's not going to go your way. You can use your deflect to try to back out, deflect some damage, and hopefully get some healing on your way out so you don't die. And speaking of his ult, you are very vulnerable while you're ulting. Be careful. Don't just randomly ult into a full team. They will kill you. You're not gaining any shields. I think it's very important to bring up matchups when you're playing as Mr. Fantastic, since he does have pretty good ones, but he also has a lot of really bad ones. So be very careful versus long range heroes, since they can easily outrange him. His E is really his only means of getting in at that point. And his defense is kind of a long cooldown. It's like 15 seconds. It's really easy for them to play around it too. He gets really long and tall. They can just stop attacking and then kill you. I'd rather use it reactively if possible, to like a Iron Man ult for example, but you can also use it when you expect the whole team to turn on you and do a lot of damage. Use it to get out of a fight, or if you're just getting outranged. Now, I've said many times that he's good at dueling versus like flankers and brawlers and divers, but you do have to be careful. He has a hard counter. Wolverine might be an actual hard counter to Reed Richards, since you're gaining more health as you're fighting and using your abilities, and while you are getting more damage, you are not going to out damage a Wolverine. You're getting more health, he's doing more damage. Yes, you're doing more damage, but I promise you his is way higher, and it comes out a lot faster. On top of that, he has hard CC. So that's it for the Reed Richards guide. Make sure you're rotating your abilities really well. Make sure you're playing with your team and brawling. You can also peel your team. Make sure you know when to get out, and for God's sakes, stay away from Wolverine. Alright guys, I'm going to show you some gameplay now, a full match. Keep in mind, I'm not a pro. This is like my first time playing him. We're both learning him together. Just have fun watching it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, like always, like and subscribe. Lots of comments, lots of engagement. We want the algorithm to pick this one up.
Anyone willing to help? Here comes trouble. You know what to do, spiders?
Feeling fantastic. Look behind you. That almost this location.
Gear up, little ones.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
You're welcome. Feeling fantastic. Trouble has arrived. I'll patch you up. A shield fit for a king. Ain't over yet. Not so fast, friend. I think you had it in you, Richard. Berserker! Not so.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Fantastic! Whoa!
Shields up.
Hey, team! Enjoy the air!
Disappear.
Ha-ha!
Fire mode.
Behold the god of thunder!
Feeling fantastic. Let me return.
Tremble before fast! Born again!
I've got you.
Berserker!
Here comes trouble.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Quarterly. Double the failure.
Take down no. Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Fantastic! Don't mind me. I'm just dying. Well, hello there. Fantastic! Ha! Whoa!
That's it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Disappear!
Born again!
My good team, I'll patch you up.
So close. This is your big chance. Clear the way.
I'll never forgive myself
Shields
for
up.
this.
Fire mode.
You guys ready to overthrow a king? Feeling fantastic.
The moon haunts you!